15 great first date questions. There they sit. You could spot them a mile away. A man and woman face each other across a table at a downtown bistro looking nervous and awkward. No doubt about it, they are on their first date. How do we know it's their first time out together? All the observable and obvious clues. They're nicely groomed, stylish but not overdone. There's a stiff formality to the way they sit. No slouching. They scan the room, menu and table setting, only occasionally making eye contact. Biggest clue of all. The salad course is punctuated by strange silence and forced small talk. The two pick at their dinner salads, staring down at the leafy mound before them. He seems tongue tied. She seems self conscious. Finally, one of them tries to grease the wheels of conversation. Him, how's your salad? Her, good, and yours? Him, yeah, really good. More excruciating silence ensues. As would be romance's go, this plane is very slow to leave the gate and get onto the runway. It remains to be seen if it will pick up speed, gain altitude, and soar skyward, or if it will lose engine power and sit on tarmac indefinitely. Don't let this happen to you. It's the truth that first date can be one of the most nerve-wracking, anxiety-producing situations in our society. Sometimes they lead to burning love. Sometimes they go down in flames. The key to having a positive experience is relaxed conversation, and that can be helped along with some well-chosen first date questions. Before we get to those, let's review a few general guidelines for dating discourse. Listen as much or more than you talk. Some people consider themselves skilled communicators because they can talk endlessly. But the ability to speak is only part of the equation and not the most important part. The best communication occurs with an even and equal exchange between two people. Think of conversation as a tennis match in which the players lob the ball back and forth. Each person gets a turn and no one hugs the ball. Peel the onion, don't stab it with a parking knife. Getting to know someone new is like peeling an onion, one thin layer at a time. It's a slow and safe process, but some people overeager to get into deep and meaningful conversation go too far too fast. They ask personal or sensitive questions that put the other person on the defensive. Should the relationship evolve, there will be plenty of time to get into weighty topics. For now, take it easy. Don't dump. If feeling inhibited is a problem for some people. Others go to the opposite extreme. They use a date as an opportunity to purge an event. When a person reveals too much too soon, it can give a false sense of intimacy. In reality, premature or exaggerated revelations are due more to boundary issues, unresolved pain, or self-centeredness than true intimacy. Genuine interest goes a long way. Maybe your first date questions will lead you to discover that this person is your soulmate, or maybe not. Either way, it's exciting to be able to get to know another human being and get a peek into his or her world. Great communication starts with being genuinely interested in the individual you are with and paying close attention to what he or she says. The process begins by providing lots of space for the full expression of information and asking follow up questions to further draw out the one talking. With those thoughts in mind, now it's time to think about specific first date questions. Try this. Who has been the biggest influence in your life? What kind of things really make you laugh? What's your favorite place in the entire world? Who is your best friend? What do you like about him or her? Favorite movie of all time? Why so? What's your biggest goal in life right now? What is your favorite way to spend a Saturday? Do you have any pet peeves? What was your family like growing up? What were you like as a kid? What should I know about you that I had never think so to ask about? Did you or do you have a nickname? What's the story behind it? Who was your favorite school teacher or college professor? Why? Have you figured out calling in life? What is it? Have you figured out your calling in life? What is it? What do you hate most about the dating process? Tell me so I can avoid it. Maybe you have got your own great first date questions, surefire winners that get the conversation rolling. If not, use this and come up with others. But by all means, give some forethought to how you would like a discussion with a new partner to unfold. You will give yourself a chance at a magnificent rather than miserable first date. Just remember, alike attracts alike. If it's a good thing, the question will roll right off the tongue and you will feel comfortable. Then you realize how fast the time is going by. I hope you don't mind me commenting. Just ask her on the date. You have nothing to lose and everything to gain. If she says yes, talk about whatever flows at the time of the date. Let it all just happen naturally. I'm in love with a girl but far from her. I intend asking her for a date, but I don't know how to go about it and what are we to discuss on our date. There's this girl I have a crush on, but she has a boyfriend. She's going to study with me, but I'm really attracted to her. I'm nervous and also sad, and what do you recommend? I do. Communication, communication, communication. I was in a relationship that was about 3,000 miles away. We would see each other every so often, but we would always communicate every day. My advice, be yourself. Great idea. Take the list with you and tell your date that you are both nervous. Great way to break the ice. Make it a game. Me and my day, me and my first date just ask each other these. A fun way to learn more about each other. Really nice piece of advice. If you need more, check out cotechscroll.com. Be yourself and have fun. I have to strongly disagree because people are very judgmental when they learn more about your past and other things. I have had my share of experience. They are afraid you are a mental wreck when they hear about your rough upbringing and experiences and walk away without taking a closer look. So I talk about real life experience here. Yes, Bira, I agree with you. You are full of wisdom. Please add me on Facebook. These are pretty standard questions that no one could be expected to avoid. If you want to avoid any topic could get too personal for someone, your entire date is going to be silence. If I can't ask you about your family on the first date, what the hell is an acceptable topic? Actually, some of these questions can get too personal and it is tough for some people that they don't want to talk about on the first date. If you don't know someone well enough to hold a conversation, what in the world are you going on a date? What in the world are you doing on a date? Dates are usually opportunities to get to know someone better. Trying to get to know them off, that's the point of the date. Twenty questions never to ask on a first date. How much money do you make? How do I look? Who did you vote for in the last election? How many kids do you want to have? What kind of wedding do you want to have? What went wrong between you and your ex? Have you ever cheated on someone? Have you ever been in love? Where do you see this relationship going? Why are you single? Are you afraid of commitment? What do your parents do? Do you have any STDs? What's your biggest regret? Do you think your parents will like me? Are you on a diet? Is that 10 spray on? Have you ever had plastic surgery? What's your 5-year plan? Wanna come up for a drink? Ten ways to tame first date anxiety. Pump yourself up versus beat yourself down pre-date. Put on some music that makes you feel good. Wear something that you feel attractive in and focus on the confident parts of you. Brainstorm at least 2 positive qualities about yourself and soak them in. Avoid labeling anxious thoughts, feelings, and sensations as bad or pursuing them in a self defeating way. Anxious thoughts breed anxious thoughts. So break the cycle by taking a step back, reminding yourself that your anxiety will pass and replacing an anxious thought with something more positive. Tune into your excitement about the possibility of finding love. Ask what other emotions do I feel about dating and how can I access them. Focus on hope, new potential, happiness, connection, and adventure. Release endorphins for a renewed sense of well being by exercising or engaging in physical activity. Also, try a yoga class to rejuvenate yourself and calm your mind. Reflect on other anxiety provoking experiences that went well for you and consider the strengths you bring to your relationship. When do things go well for you despite your fear? Remind yourself that your upcoming first date is one short, single event in your life. Realistically, it is only a little of your time and you will get through it. Confidence is key. Practice conquering your fears and anxieties in your everyday life. Make an extra effort to say thank you to a stranger, holding the door at the coffee shop. Strike up a conversation with someone at the gym, or get involved in a new activity. These exercises naturally make you feel good about yourself. Plan out several conversation starters or topics for the date. What are you confident talking about? Which subjects are interesting to you? What can you teach your date? Having a plan is helpful. Give yourself a reality check. While looking for the right partner, you are likely going to experience good dates and bad dates, fun dates and boring dates, dates where you click and dates where you don't. Be sure to manage your expectations. Ground yourself before exiting your home. Focus on your breathing while telling yourself something calming, comforting, and kind. Positive and affirmative statements such as, I can handle this, I'm strong and courageous, and I'm open to this experience are powerful in anxiety management. As challenging as it may seem, practice putting these tools and strategies into action. As you use them more and more, they will become easier to use and more helpful each time. You can do it. Proceed with confidence. When anxiety strikes during your date, seek ways to manage it. Remind yourself that you are conquering your fears and anxieties while on your date. Despite pre date urges to avoid dating altogether or cancel, you went on the date anyways. View this as an accomplishment and another example of how you refuse to let anxiety get in the way of what you want. Maintain an attitude of curiosity and openness about your date and the dating experience in general. Focus on learning about your date by listening attentively and asking questions. Being curious makes new experiences more exciting and rewarding while liberating you from anxious thoughts. Make humor your friend. It can easily cut through an anxious moment or an awkward silence. Laughter is an instant mood buster, which is especially helpful if your date is anxious too. Stay in the moment and tune out the what if it's. Let assumptions, judgments, and worries pass by, really engaging in what's happening then and there. Focus on what your date is saying and how you feel about it versus what is going on in your mind. When you notice an anxious thought, bring yourself back to the date by asking a few deep breaths, at least three, and reciting a positive statement to yourself. Try, I can handle this and get through my date. Or I'm conquering anxiety in this moment. Let go of any needs to be perfect. Striving for perfection is commonly linked with anxiety. Perfection is an impossible task. Bring yourself back to reality and set yourself up for success by aiming to be your best self, despite any self defeating thoughts. As you continue to expose yourself to dating, your anxiety will have less and less power over you, and you'll have a better chance of finding your ideal partner. All the dating consists of many unknowns. Actively dating keeps you on the track with what you want and leads to increased self confidence. The new rules of dating. 4 ways dating has changed in the last 5 years. And are you finding yourself back in dating trenches? If so, what follows are four brand spanking new rules of dating. In the dating trenches, do you ever wonder if your dating skills are up to date? Or so 5 years ago, what follows are four brand spanking new rules of dating. When you learn to embrace them, your results will dramatically shift from so to sensational. Multi dating is now part of the game. 5 years ago, online dating made it possible to have a date almost every weekend. That's not good enough anymore. Today, the savviest singles know that dating is a numbers game. Instead of putting all your emotional eggs into one basket, it's time to start multi dating. Sound daunting? It's not. Plus, the benefits of multi dating are well documented. Your expectations are tempered because you are free from the pressure of making this one date work. There is comfort in knowing that if one girl gets away, another will take her place. And you get to put your flirting and dating skills to the test on a consistent basis. By analyzing the results, your date's reaction, you can tweak your behavior, minimize what doesn't work, being too talkative, texting her too much between dates, etc., and amplify what does, keeping her interest by being moderately available, letting her know you are dating multiple people, etc. People have shorter attention spans. In other words, learn to work it. Remember when conventional wisdom blamed MTV for creating shorter attention spans? It's not enough anymore to be a handsome catch who is available. That means you've got to get in social media game, create eye-catching profile headlines, and market your single assets. Sound impossible? It's not. It just takes a little time energy, and dedication. If you're committed to getting real results, you'll make the effort. You will also reap the rewards. Plenty of online interest that translates into spark inducing dates and eventually a new relationship. Technology has changed the game. Embrace that. Gone are the days of creating a clever online date profile, uploading your fave photo, and sitting back, relaxing while the wings, flirts, and interest poured in. The internet dating pool nowadays is large and multifaceted. You now have to work a little harder to get real results. Invest in your success by embracing the multiple platforms now available to the average dater. Dating is an industry. In the last 5 years, dating is not the only thing that's changed. The dating industry has evolved into sophisticated social science. There are books dedicated to the art of online dating, how to snag a good partner, and what rules to follow to ensure woman of your dreams arrives within the first year. There are also coaches and experts dedicated to your success, your job, to employ the methods you find useful, master the new principles, and date accordingly. Think of your dating life as a fun and fabulous part time job. You need to implement the right tools, strategies, and support staff to make your job easier and more fun. So, there you have it, 4 new rules of dating that will rock your results. May you learn them, live them, and love them. Seeking women who are right for you. Choosing the right partner is one of the most important decisions you will make, but the path to finding that person isn't always as straightforward as you would hope. If you seem to constantly gravitate toward the wrong relationship choice, it's time to take charge of your romantic life by seeking women who are right for you. When seeking women, set a goal. Relationships are hard to last. Relationships are hard work. Put your commitment to find something into action and set a goal for the relationship you want to have and the type of woman you're seeking. Just like in other facets of your life, setting goals sets a commitment and gives you direction. Forget about intermittently dating to pass the time. Set a purpose to date women who you could see potentially having a committed relationship with. When seeking women, spend time self examining. Honestly assess yourself. Are you radiating the same attributes that you're seeking in a woman? For example, you can't expect to find a happy, secure, and confident catch if you don't think of yourself the same way. Forget the artificial show looks or what initially attract you to a potential mate. And there has to be some level of attraction in a relationship. But if you're seeking a woman who is right for you in the long term, reach outside of your old paradigm and look at the total package. Identify patterns from your previous relationships that didn't work and actually correct them by steering clear of people who exhibit them. Recognize the personality traits that you are drawn to and decide if those are healthy or unhealthy matches for you. Take a look at the pace of your past relationships and how they advance. Do you jump into fast or do you wait by sidelines and miss the opportunity? Listen. If you are seeking a woman who is right for you, a simple way to find out if you have a potential match is to simply listen. Just listening to a woman on the first few dates when you're getting to know each other can tell you a lot about the other person. Be engaged in the conversation and ask for more details. The beginning of a relationship is the time to find out if she is the right woman for you and if it makes sense to continue to date and take the relationship to the next level. Seeking woman, is she the right for you long term? Finding someone you can have a good time with can meet the need for instant gratification that you may crave. But if you want to find someone you can have long term happiness with, it's important to know yourself and what your goals for the future are. Compare those goals to your potential partners because having the same life priorities is key if you want a deep and lasting connection. Don't manufacture chemistry that just isn't there. If she's not the right for you, it's time to move on and give yourself the opportunity to meet someone else who truly is your perfect fit. Remember that attaching yourself to someone isn't going to make you instantly happy or complete. Continuing to date someone you don't see a future with will lead to inevitable disappointment for both of you. What to do once you have found her? Once you have found relationship success, keep communicating. Make your intentions for the future known and always keep mutual respect for one another, the foundation on which to grow. What to do when she is more successful? Like it or not, when it comes to dating, our genders are not operating on a level playing field. While it's perfectly culturally acceptable for a man to date a woman who is shorter than he is, makes less money than he does, and is generally considered less of a catch than the guy is, society would say that the opposite scenario opposite implies that woman hasn't done quite as well as she should have. But what happens when you meet an amazing woman who just happens to look better on paper than you do? Are you supposed to just walk away? Or should you pursue and woo her regardless of what your pay stubs, bank statements, and portfolio say? In the new millennium, a time when women and men have equal earning power, when more and more husbands are opting to become stay-at-home dads and let their wives bring home the bacon, and when the single women are putting off marriage and monogamy longer than the previous generation, is dating a woman who makes more money than you still an issue? And if you happen to meet a savvy and successful woman who doesn't care about who makes more money, is it still an ego bruising deal breaker for you? Regardless of how amazing sexy she is, what follows are some tips on how to date and mate a successful woman who just might earn more than you without killing your confidence. Get to know her, not her bank account. Don't be intimidated by her success. Especially in the beginning, as you get to know one another, she wants you to get to know her, not her bank account. Instead of focusing on how much she makes, look for shared interest and common goals. The truth is, most uber successful women are used to dating and dumping men who feel inferior to them. Don't be that guy. She will appreciate you that much more if you're secure with yourself as well as with her financial success. Besides, there's a lot more to taking care of a woman than financial support. A smart, successful woman is more apt to appreciate emotional intimacy with a secure man than a woman who is looking for some guy to financially secure her. Be fiscally fit yourself. Are you capable of living within your means, saving for the future and investing wisely? If not, are you open to learning how to make the most of the money you have without feeling intimidated by what she already has? Make time for each other. Just because a woman is financially independent of you doesn't mean she doesn't want you to be an integral part of her life. But because most successful women have busy careers, and so do you, finding time for one another may be challenging. However, it's not impossible. It just takes compromise on both parts. Don't expect her to constantly rearrange her schedule while yours stays intact. Instead, work together to make plans and rearrange schedules when necessary. Let her pay sometimes. The bonus of dating a successful woman is that your bank account doesn't have to bear the brunt of your courtship. In letting her pay sometimes you can sit back, relax and enjoy getting to know the amazing woman sitting across from you and still have enough cash for other things that are important to you. Always remember that it's about the woman, not the bank statement. If she is somebody worth wooing and pursuing, then you owe it to yourself to rise above the initial ego bruising and go for it. Besides, you may just discover that you like dating someone who is equally, if not more, monetarily secure for all the financial freedom it affords you both. " 62 questions to ask on a first date. If you're reading this, you're most likely well aware that dating today is Facebook, text, is awkward. It is basically a socially acceptable form of stranger danger. You meet up at a spot one of you heard good things about to make small talk with a totally random person for a couple hours, hoping to prove to them you're an amazing, sane, and charming person. Possibly even the complete package. Once completed, they should definitely want to date you, right? If only it were that easy. Provided below are 62 conversation and thought-provoking questions to aid you in your quest of loving and making your dates. Believe you truly are that amazing, sane, and charming person you claim to be. Now get out there and find somebody to love. What are three US cities would you never ever move to even for the job offer of your dreams? What combination of fixing makes you perfect burrito? What is the best gift you have ever received? What is the most thoughtful gift you have ever given? Who is your role model or has had the biggest influence on your life? Do you have any nicknames? What's one thing you wish you had known as a freshman in college? How many siblings do you have? Do you consider yourself a morning person or a night owl? How long did it take you to start enjoying coffee? What do your parents do for a living? What are two of your bucket list items? Have you ever kept a New Year's resolutions? Were you closer with your mom or your dad growing up? What is something you're financially saving up for currently? Do you have any specialty cooking dishes? What is one job you could never do? When is your birthday? What is in your fridge right now? Do you believe in aliens? Do you think it's the little things or grand gestures that count the most? Have you ever been out of the country? What fact about you surprises people the most? What do you do for a living? What's your ideal vacation? If you could live in any other US city, what city would you live in? What was your favorite family vacation growing up? What was your favorite subject in school? If you could travel back to any one point in time, what would it be? What is the proudest moment or greatest achievement of your life so far? How did you meet your best friend? What is the family tradition your family has? What was your favorite toy growing up? Who was your favorite teacher or professor? What is the best advice you have received? What's the luckiest thing that's ever happened to you? What do you feel people take for granted the most? What do you like the most about this town? What is the craziest scene or the event you have seen or received? What was the worst job you have ever had? What was the last book you read? When you were younger, what did you want to be when you grew up? What was something that recently moved you? What skill or talent do you wish you had or were better at? If you just won $1 million, what would you do with it? If you had a superpower, what would it be? What are you passionate about? What is your favorite movie? What do you think is your greatest strength? What is the last vegetable you would ever want to be?